Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah. Thanks for watching. So this is part 2 of my 2-part Socktober special videos. Today I'm going to be sharing some of the yarns that I like for sock knitting and then some of the tools that I also use. If you missed part 1, I talk about sock patterns that I love and sock patterns I want to knit in the future, and you can watch that here. Okay, so let's talk about sock yarns. I said this in my first video, but I'm really not a sock know-it-all. I only became a proficient sock knitter this year. I previously just stuck to sweaters. I had no patience for the small circumference. I wasn't happy with the fit, but I really feel like this year one of my goals was to love sock knitting, and so I really have, and I am just so happy with the socks I've made. And so I just want to share with you how I became a sock knitter. So I'm going to share some of the yarns that I have been enjoying using this year. I think that I was unhappy with my socks before because I didn't use sock yarn. I just used whatever yarn that I had, and I didn't use magic loop. I just used double pointed needles. I also never checked my gauge or anything like that. So basically all the classic mistakes. And so I actually realized I had a lot of sock yarn in my stash already. I just didn't know what I was looking for. So I'm going to share some of those things. So one of the first sock yarns that I used was actually the Woolberry Fiber Co. Berry Sock, which is an 80/20 BFL superwash nylon, super beautiful sock yarn. I had some gifted to me, and yeah, so I was like, wow, now I understand. This yarn is amazing. So I actually have one here that I was going to show. It is I'm Political, which is from the Downton Abbey collection. So I'm actually gifting this to my brother-in-law, so it's not for me, but I'm going to gift it to him, and hopefully he will become a proficient sock knitter as well because he has the right yarn. So I like Woolberry yarn because she has the most beautiful colors. I like the thought that goes into them. I really liked buying this colorway for my brother-in-law forever ago when it came out because he reminded me of the character that this is about. So anyway, I'm a sucker for the collections. I don't buy a lot of indie dyed yarn. I don't know. I just don't. I would like to buy more, but I am trying to keep it in the budget. So anyway, it's for special occasions for me. I love if you are able to, that is awesome. It's just not for me right now. It makes for a great gift, and it's just beautiful. Just so beautiful. I would buy it over and over and over and over again if I could. So yes, I think that's a great yarn if you're a beginning sock knitter. Okay, so another yarn that I've used that I really love is sort of a different take on sock yarn. It uses nettles instead of nylon. So if you're looking for something that doesn't have nylon, this is for you. It's the Onion Nettle Sock yarn. My parents got this for me from Stephen and Penelope, and I had never seen it before, but you can buy it in the States. I don't know where else you can buy it, but I don't have the ball band on because I frogged this. But the nettles are supposed to be really strong and similar to nylon. I actually knit up a pair of socks in this yarn, so you can see how it is knit up. It's sort of heathered, and I don't know, I just love it. So I wore these a few times, but I knit them before my big sock revelation where I learned the correct size that I wear. So they're too big, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them. I think I'll probably frog them. But I love this yarn so much. I want to make myself a sweater or a hat. It's so soft. It doesn't have nylon, but it's still just beautiful. I don't know. I just love it. It is superwash, so it's a 70/30 superwash wool and nettle. But it's kind of fun to use, and it is more of a budget-friendly option if you're looking for that. If that's not important to you, totally fine. Well, the last yarn that I have used this year that I really like is Nitpick Stroll, which is a very budget option. And I actually used it for my latest sock launch, back to school sock set. I used it for the samples. So I love that it has so many colors. There's like 30 plus colors that you can always get. And then there's also heathered versions. So yes, I love that. I ordered a lot for the samples. I didn't use a ton. So I'm really excited to just knit up a bunch of socks in that yarn. It's a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. So it does have nylon and superwash, but I was so happy with how it felt, and it was squishy and soft, and my son loves the socks. He puts them on his hands, like he likes to do this with his socks. So that means it's a winner because it's soft enough to do that with. So now that I've shared some of my favorite sock yarns that I've used this year, I want to share some of the tools that really helped me become a better sock knitter. I don't think they're all necessary. I knit socks without these, but like I said, I wasn't really a happy sock knitter. So I just want to share them with you in case you're unhappy with your sock knitting skills or tools or practices, because they really changed a lot for me. The number one thing that I would recommend are these needles. I know I said you don't need them to knit socks, but you might need these to knit socks. These are the Chiago red lace needles. I got them from my local yarn shop, but you can probably find them anywhere. Your local yarn shop, online, whatever. So I crowdsourced some information on why I didn't love sock knitting. And the number one reason that people told me was because I wasn't using the right needles. So I probably should have gotten a longer cord, but I don't know what length this is. But gosh, I just love these. These, I don't know if you can hear that. Maybe you don't like that sound, but it sounds really nice to me. I just felt like my sock knitting speed went like through the roof. Like I could knit so fast with these, and then yeah, just amazing. You just have to try it, I think. I don't know. Does anyone love these like I do? They changed everything for me. Yeah. Okay. So another thing that I have found so helpful in my sock knitting is this handy sock. I don't know if it's focusing. Okay, there we go. Socks Rule. So this is by Katrinkles, I think is how you say it. It's made in the USA. That's what it says down here. So I don't know if you can get it. Wait, did that focus? I don't know if you can get her stuff outside of the US, but I'm sure there's lots of these kinds of things on Etsy. So it's basically like a sock ruler, which I love because socks are a great gift knit, but I never know, like I want them to fit properly, right? And it has like all these different like US men's shoe, US women's shoe, Euro shoe size. And then it also has handy like adult socks should have 10% negative ease, things like that, like smaller in leg or foot circumference, different information that might be handy for gift knitting. So I have used this for my, there we go. I've used this for my gift knitting and for my own socks if I don't want to try them on. And it's so handy. I love it. Again, it's not something you need, but it was really game changing for me when I was gift knitting socks because, I knit a pair of sample socks and I used this because it wasn't the size that I wear. Okay, so those are two things I love. Another thing, very sharp, tiny snips. So again, I've mentioned before, I try to keep my knitting as low budget as possible. If you're a knitter, you know, like trying to prioritize saving money for the yarn or whatever. That's like how mine is. I don't know what your, favorite thing to spend money on is within the knitting hobby. There's so many things, but I was just using like fabric scissors that I had gotten a long time ago from probably taken from my parents' house or something. But I was given these for my birthday and I love them and they're so sharp. So I shared in my previous video that I recently got into afterthought heels, and you need a tiny pair of needles. I mean, a tiny pair of scissors for that, because otherwise you're gonna cut the whole sock and it's so nerve-wracking. So these are perfect for that. These are from Barrett Wool Co, I think. She had like a Valentine's special, and then I think my mom saved them all the way to my birthday. So that's a long time. So anyway, I love them. Thank you, Mom. They're just what I needed for my afterthought heels. If you don't know an afterthought heel, you can place scrap yarn, but I am more likely to place my needles and then cut out the stitches that I don't need in the middle, and then you place the heel. So it's kind of like steeking, but you don't reinforce it. So not like steeking. I don't know. Anyway, there's lots of tutorials out there that you can find. Okay, another thing that I love for my socks are stitch markers. It's like maybe a little frivolous, but I just love them. And I feel like on socks they look so nice because you're usually using like some really cool yarn. So then if you have some really cool stitch markers to go with it, just takes it to another level. So my favorite right now are these from Sai. You can get them on Etsy. I love them. I bought these because I really like her shop and they're super cute. And oh, this is another one that I think is so fun. It's a goldfish. I just think it's so cute. So this was from her recent drop that I bought these. But yeah, I love the goldfish and I'm just really happy with all the ones that I bought. So I like using them just as like, you know, beginning of round or whatever. If you knit socks that have different panels in them, like a lace panel or something, helpful, obviously. I have also seen removable stitch markers used as progress keepers. So, you know, if you knit your socks like to have a certain number of rows in them, then you can put a progress keeper on each, like every 10 stitches or things like that. I think that'd be really helpful for me, but I just don't use them as much as I would like to. I just love the kind of fun ones, and I never remember to buy the progress keeper ones. Next time, I'm buying the ones that are progress keepers. But you can also just use removable stitch markers. Okay, the last thing that I love for my tools is sock blockers. You don't need them, obviously. When I first started knitting, I just like washed my socks and then let them dry on the carpet. But these really give your socks like the most beautiful shape. So I don't know, I think they're a great investment. And I recently got some. I left them downstairs, so I can't get to them right now. But I'll put a picture. My dear friend gifted these to me, and they have my little shop logo on them. And they are like, you can change the size. So this is really helpful because I often am a sample knitter, and so I will knit things that aren't actually for me, and I need to knit different size socks. Or now that I'm gift knitting socks, I can block them to the correct size. So I really love that. I'll link the shop below. I don't remember her name, but she did a lot of donations to Ukraine and Ukrainian people because she lives in Ukraine. So it's a great opportunity to support an independent artist that is loving on her community right now. Anyway, if you haven't used sock blockers, they're really magical because your socks are like all these crinkled little tube, and then you wash it and it becomes this beautiful sock. It just gives the most beautiful shape. So not a necessity, but definitely makes your socks look beautiful when you post them on Instagram and you want everyone to like them. It has just like this beautiful shape. Like I have not blocked these again. Like I haven't washed them again. Maybe that's gross. I don't know. But I blocked them once and I've worn them so many times and they still have this beautiful shape. So highly recommend some sock blockers. So those are some of my favorite yarns that I've used this year, and then also some of my favorite tools that really helped me up my sock knitting game. If you weren't able to watch my first Socktober video, you can watch it here. If you would kindly leave me a comment or like or subscribe, I would really appreciate that. You can tell me if there's something that really changed your sock knitting game and what that was, because who knows, maybe there's something I'm missing and it would make me an even better sock knitter. I would love to know. I hope you have a happy weekend and a happy Socktober.